Welcome back. Once again, Passive Income Tom bringing you another video. This one's not passive income, but something you want to hear about. I know a lot of people do because it's my second most popular video about debt. People want to find out how to get out of debt. This one I'm breaking down, give you some tips to start off 2020 because I know you want to lower your debt. So stay tuned. I'll be right back. Anyway, Passive Income bringing another video today. This one we're going to talk about debt, as I mentioned, but I'm going to start off with some facts and figures, okay? But before we get into that, I'm not a financial advisor. I know I'm pretty much an average guy, just like you or a girl. You've got to really understand money if you want to be rich and famous or have money in the future. That's what you've got to do. You've got to understand the basics to do that. And debt was one of the big things that's going to hurt a lot of people because when you have a lot of debt, you can't invest as much as you want to do. So I'm going to cover some facts and figures really quick, and then I'm going to jump into exactly what I'm going to do on how to lower your debt. I've got 5 tips on how to do that. All right, but there's over $13.5 trillion in debt across the United States. $13.5 trillion. 9.1 trillion is in mortgages, home loans, stuff like that. You have 1.46 trillion in student loan debt. I mean, the debt has continued to cry over the years. There's 1.27 trillion dollars in auto loans, car loans. I mean, it's crazy. People are extending their car loans from a 5-year now to a 7 years, sometimes even 8 years. If you can, try to pay as little as you can. If you can, try to pay it all in cash. So if you got to buy a car in a few years from now, save some money now to do that. There's over $870 trillion in credit card debt. No, just kidding. $870 billion in credit card debt. I mean, billions of trillions, that's still a lot of money, that banks and other companies are getting hold of your free money. That's what I think of credit cards. It's free money when you're paying somebody else extra interest. So you want to really minimize that and not really do that. There's also people that are going into delinquency, avoiding paying their loans for whatever reason or paying off their debt. The height was back in 2009. It was crazy. It was almost 11% of people were in debt, being delinquent, And now it's only 4.7% people that are in delinquent. It ranges from anywhere from 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, 120 days, and even some people they're really delinquent, really bad, over 120 days in debt. They haven't paid 1 penny to whatever they owe for these debts. I mean, that's pretty bad. So before I get into any more facts and figures, I'm going to give you some of my tips, my 5 tips on how to get out of these debts and help you have a great 2020. All right. So pay attention, take some notes, and listen in very carefully. Okay. Now we're going to start with credit cards. Credit card debt is huge. It's something you want to avoid as much as possible because you're paying your bank free money. It's like giving somebody off the street, hey, here's $5, here's $10, here's $20, whatever it may be. But you want to avoid giving your bank extra money. So if you have a lot of debt, you want to stop using your credit card, first of all. Try very hard not to use it. If you have to do something, think, do you really need to buy something today? It can probably wait until you save enough money to buy something in the future. But you want to start with the highest debt, highest credit card. If you have multiple credit card bills, pay off the one with the most interest. That's one way to do it. Put as much as you can on that one and pay the minimum on the other ones. All right, that's the first thing. If you have something with a higher interest rate, you want to tackle that one first. It's another way to do it. Pay them with the most interest rate and then keep tackling that one down. You get it down and down and down, and you pay the minimum on the other ones. Okay, now that we've covered credit cards, now if you're thinking, where do I get this extra money to pay down all these debt I have? Sometimes you've got to figure out, there's 365 days in a year, 168 hours in a week, You've got to figure out, and you're working 40 hours a week, all right? But you've got to use the extra time to work on, maybe you have to do a side hustle. You've got to do that to help lower your debt. It could be something simple. You work part-time at a store. You do something online, and there's so many ways to do it, but you've got to lower that debt. You've got to put in that extra money to help lower that debt. Because if you're not doing it, it's going to be harder and harder. Instead of paying off in a year, it could be 3, 4, 5 years down the road when you're paying off your debt. So sometimes you've got to use the extra time, spend less time watching TV and go do a side hustle. Go work. I mean, there's no shame in that. Go work for some place and to get the extra cash to help lower your debt. I mean, you have a goal. There's a reason why you want to get out of debt. So you've got to do it, and you got to do it quickly and fast, because otherwise you're paying that bank or that credit card company extra money or whatever that you don't need to. So go do the side hustle, pull in that extra cash, spend a little time, spend a couple hours a night during the week and do that. You've got to do it. There's no shame in it. People are doing it because you want to get out of debt. You don't want to have that debt lingering over you, in 2021, 2022, and so on. You want to get out of debt this year. All right, I want to help you do that. I want you to get out of debt. Pay attention. I've got 3 more things I want to talk to you about. So pay attention, listen in, because these are really going to help you out. Okay, I briefly mentioned it, but do you need something or do you want something? A lot of people confuse that, because you've got to have things you need to live, to live every day. You've got to have your food, a place to live. You might need a car. You might need, clothes off on your back and everything. So those are things you need. All right. And don't confuse it with things you want. Do you want that nice little Rolex? Do you want that Tag Heuer? Do you want that fancy car? Do you want these fancy clothes? Do you want to, keep up with the trends? Those are things you want, but you don't need it. Okay. You understand what I'm saying? There's things you want in life and things you need. Don't confuse the two, because too many people are chasing after, trying to be like the Joneses, trying things for all these wants that they need, but you really don't need it. If you want to buy something, think about it for a day or two, say, because later on you might think, hey, I really don't need that. All right. So avoid buying these things out of just because things you want it, just because somebody else has it, or somebody else, you see this ad on TV or on the computer or whatever, because something you really don't need. We really have got to think hard about things you want and things you need. This is very simpler. Don't confuse the two, but think, can you survive today or tomorrow without something? You probably can. All right. Nobody really cares what you're wearing, how you're looking, but I mean, yes, they do in some sense, but you really don't need to go overboard. All right. Do your best you can to stay and decide, do you really need it or do you want it? All right. Okay. A lot of people talk about this a lot of times. You might see ads popping up. You might see these flyers in the mail or whatever, but you've got to think, you've got to lower your existing bills. There's some things you need, you got to pay for your gas, electricity, your water bill, and so on, roof over your head. But there's some things you don't always have to have. So look in what comes in your mail, look at your credit card statement and see what you're paying for. Do you really need cable, or maybe you want to go and just do Netflix, because there's a big difference in price. Cable might cost, $50, $60 a month, whatever, but Netflix is only $9.95 or $10.95 a month. There's a big difference right there. That's $30, $40 right there. You've got to look, are you getting charged for paying these bills monthly? Do you need to pay for Spotify every month? I mean, I have never bought a streaming service, a music streaming service, because I don't really need to do that. If I want to listen to something, I'll turn on the radio. If I really want to listen to something, I'll, look it up on YouTube or whatever. I really don't need to spend money on that, because I really don't need it at all. You've got to look at what fees are you paying out to somebody just for these monthly subscription services. Think about it. Can you avoid going without it for a certain time? I mean, I wanted to do this earlier, but I cut cable last year. And so, I just have Netflix, Hulu, and Amazon. I already have Amazon Prime, so it's all covered. And I don't pay that much for all these extra little TV services. And I don't even watch that TV much at all. So you got to think, how much TV are you watching every day? You probably spend a lot of time working. You probably spend a lot of time, eating out or with your friends and so on. So you've got to think, do you really need to pay for cable? Do you need to pay for these other little extra services every month? Really think about it. There's extra money you can put toward your bills. All right, this last one. Some people do it, some people don't. Since I was a little kid, my grandmother used to take me, I used to go shopping with her. We used to walk down a couple blocks in Philadelphia, and I used to go shopping with her. I used to carry these, those little silver carts, the shopping carts. I used to carry that, walking down to the shopping store with her, and I'd go grocery shopping with her. But you know what she always had? She always had coupons. I mean, some people look at me now, my family looks at me now, thinks I'm crazy. I'm always looking for, I always cut out these little coupons for all these deals at all these little restaurants and stuff like that, or different deals, or that's extra money you're saving, because sometimes you can get free little meals, and a lot of things now are online. You get download these apps, and like I go to Pyology a lot. When you go to Pyology, I think it's when you go eat there, baby. 8 or 10 times, and you'll get a free pizza. I mean, who wouldn't want a free pizza? I go to Apology almost weekly, and so after 2 or 3 months, you can get a free pizza. I mean, you gotta look, you gotta find these little deals that are out there, because a lot of little apps have them. Yes, you may not like to download all these apps on your phone, but there's a bonus to a lot of them. So, but make sure you download it, legitimately. Don't go download off some crazy site you never heard of. You've got to download either from a Google Play Store or, I'm not sure what Apple has, but off the off Apple, and download the correct link. Don't download something that's going to put a virus onto your phone. So do the right smart thing, and you will save some money. Find out where you can find and save some money, because it's really going to pay off in the end. So if you want to get started, you've got to get started on some of these tips today. If you need to rewind that, and in case you missed something, you might, because I'm really trying to emphasize what you need to do to get out of 2020 and make it your year and help you eliminate your debt, lower your debt. If you have some debt, do the best you can and lower it. I encourage you to do it, because nobody's going to do it for you except for you. You've got to make the decision to do it yourself and get started. Make 2020 your year. All right. If you haven't already, like this video, subscribe, click the bell for notification, and check out these videos here. The Dave Ramsey video is going to pop up right over here. Check it out and pay attention. It's really simple. It doesn't really go into a whole lot of detail, but it gives you a lot of good information you need to know, and you might need to hear about it. So I'm just reinforcing some other things that I highlight in that video. All right, take care. Click the bell for notification. See you again this Friday for the next upcoming passive income video. Take care.